by the two people who carried it from the United States to Wales. And I love this story because I sat there the day that they had a ceremony, an opening ceremony, the day that they first introduced it back to the public in the United States. And I sat there absolutely mesmerized by this little flame, and it was in a kind of one of these lanterns that's a double enclosure, so it has air coming into it, but no possibility of it, even if it turned over on its side, no possibility of the flame escaping. And of course, it was watched very carefully. But as I watched that little flame, it took, which looked like the shape of Cinderella's fairy godmother, it literally took, to me, it took its skirt in its hands and bowed. And I was flabbergasted. And so from that point on, I actually understood the meaning of this flame as a living vehicle. And again, Peggy Goldstein one day had her flame lit in her, she typically lit her flame in her family room, and it was out, but she actually saw the flame as if it were lit. Because one of the things that I always try to share with you is that that's a living being, and its energy is transfers. So once you light that flame, and I lit my, what was it, the Bic lighter or whatever it was, with the peace flame. So the energy of the peace flame transferred to, even though that's a torch, it's still transferred to that. So every one of these that got lit, even if they, when they go out, they will still have the energy. So you are welcome. I have hundreds more of these little votives. You're welcome to take a little votive home. Don't take the holder, because we've been missing those too. But, but I mean, take it home if you absolutely feel you have to, because I do have 100, thanks to Judy Richet and her generosity. But she actually, Peggy actually saw the flame, like I said, as if it were lit. So then she goes, oh my God, that's what Alice was talking about, that the energy is in the flame. So anyway, but that's the story of the World Peace Flame, very condensed.
And if you notice, there's a theme there, because the dove also represents peace, right, as well as Holy Spirit.
Right.
And the two being synonymous anyway. And so this is all about peace, which is in all of us and just has to be remembered. The scars that we had began when the ladies in Atlanta, in the Atlanta church, went out one day looking for a way to make a contribution to the ordination ceremonies. And so they went into a store, and they were looking around, and these beautiful scarves were hanging there, and they were all a little different. And so the ladies said, they looked at each other and they said, that's what we want to give. And they picked out one, and they took it up to the counter, and they wanted to know about the scarves. They're made in Australia, and no two are exactly alike, but the theme of the colors in them have significance. So they were talking to the proprietor of the store, and she said, well, you picked out the healing scarf. That's the healing scarf. That's the one that you've picked out. And so all of us receive a healing scarf. Many of us display it in the room when we're doing healing for people. We always wear it at our ceremonies. Some people wear them during church services. It's yours, but I hang mine up in my healing room along with my ordination certificate. Even though I signed my own ordination certificate. I ordained myself. Which is true.
Yeah.
But we are entitled by the state of Virginia to ordain people. That's part of our incorporation, not only as a church, but as a nonprofit corporation. We are entitled by the state of Virginia to ordain people into the ministry. And we do. We have, you'll make 32, I believe, with the addition of you two that we've ordained over time. And there's some of them are scattered to the four winds now. Some of them have moved to other locations. We have one in England, and of course Mo's out in California and different places. But I'm very proud of all of them. And so grateful that those people came forward and made their pledge, gave their vow. So we'll do the rededication of the ministers now. And I'm just going to ask you to repeat after me all of the
I have a few more if you don't have one.
I don't think all of these were handed out, but it's slightly different than the other one, mostly in that it says rededicate instead of dedicate. But I will always, I will read it as well so that you can repeat it. Before we do that, I'm going to start with Alice and just say why you're a minister, your name, and why you're a minister.
Okay, my name is Alice Jones. I also go by Alicia. Wanda saw a healer in me, and I've recognized that as I've been with the church, that the only thing I ever wanted to do with my life really was to be of service and to help people. And in every respect, I do that on a daily basis. I help them with my words, I help them with my writing, I help them with everything that comes out of my mouth. I am the assistant lead minister next to Wanda. I've been with her basically from the beginning, and I consider that one of the biggest blessings in my life, if not the biggest blessing. So,
Thank you.
My name is Mahadevi, and I remember the first time I laid on Wanda's table. She laid out the path very clearly, and it happened just the way she said it. And I feel very called to do what I'm doing. I feel like I'm here to wake up to my true nature, and I'm here to support others in discovering the same about themselves.
My name is Dale Schoonover. I am the lead minister of Frederick, and how I got to be there was that I had been going to the services in Baltimore and felt that Frederick could greatly benefit from Wanda's presence, so I made it happen, and that's been my service, is helping the community, bring Wanda to the Frederick community.
Bringing the church to the community. Because many of us have gone out there to talk.
Yes.
I'm Mary Phelps. I'm the lead minister of the Baltimore group, and I found Wanda by a circuitous route. I heard Tori talking to a mutual friend of ours about this wonderful person she knew in Virginia, and I called her up, and it just struck me, and I called her Wanda up and made an appointment and had to take a friend with me, which is a good thing, because the first session I had with Wanda blew me away so much that I couldn't drive. All I remember coming out of the session and looking at the trees and saying, "Oh, aren't they beautiful? Everything looks so beautiful." It was high as a kite. And within 2 months, Wanda was in my house in Baltimore. And has been ever since.
Ever since.
So something struck and I followed it, and I've never regretted it a minute. It's been the most fulfilling thing I've done. I'm most comfortable when I'm in energy. Whether by myself or with somebody else, it doesn't matter.
When you flow in.
Right. That's it.
Your job.
I'm Mary Jo Fishburne. I belong to the larger community, but my home base is Baltimore, and I felt called to pursue the ministry because there's been a way that this community really supports light and healing that I've always felt drawn to do, and it's a very inclusive group. It's expansive and focusing and grounding, and it's all about empowering each of us to make healthy choices and evolving with spirit. And I'm really, really honored to be a part of this group.
I'm Cindy Raspy. I've been a registered nurse for 39 years, so I've always thought I wanted to do nursing and help people. And I came to the church when I started to have a serious illness, which Wanda diagnosed me before anybody else did. And I was going through a lot. It's been about 10 years, and I was going through a lot, and I couldn't have gotten through it without Wanda and the church and everybody involved. And a lot of changes are happening now, which are really good.
I'm Melinda Paul, and I found out about the church a few years ago, and feel that I've been a body worker for many years, and feel that what I've been doing recently has been more of a ministry, and was very happy to become part of the ministers group here, and to really embrace that as my walk. And my motto, what I live with every day, is to make the world a better place, and have that is my ministry.
Well, I'm going to share something that I don't share with too many people, and I shared it briefly with Wanda once when she asked me did I receive a call into the ministry, and my answer was no. I've been receiving a calling since my college years to be a peacemaker. And whether it's to be a doctor, or whether to be a politician, or a spokesman, whatever it is, I felt that I've been following that path all along. And when I met Wanda, it was a natural attraction. I felt here's somebody who's a good guide who helped take me to the next higher level. Right now, I feel that the work I'm doing as a collective, on all the individuals across my paths, is causing that to happen. It is trickling down and affecting people on another level and another level beyond that and so forth. And I feel there's some even bigger challenges coming my way, but I feel like I'm really ready for those. It's like, let's see what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting and exciting. I feel that becoming the minister was just another step along that path. It really does bring in a higher guidance that takes me along with it.
Well, what are ministers if they are not purveyors of peace?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So that's my journey, and bring it on.
More to come. Eva.
My name is Eva Arciszewska, and I am a minister based in Fox Church. Right now, I don't know if you know that I am licensed to wed people in the state of Virginia. Whenever I do the healing in hospitals, I do it as a minister. I don't charge for that, although I have my own practice in my home. I started the healing for a very personal reason. I was stricken by a very severe case of arthritis to the point that I stopped walking, my hands stopped working. I had to have a cortisone shots every week in order to move my fingers, and the doctor said that the wheelchair is just my only option. And a friend of mine came from Michigan who was an energy healer and spent 3 days with me, working constantly on me, and I started moving. And then I decided to find this mysterious Reiki teacher. And I found I went through the complete training till Reiki Master Teacher. And my master teacher wanted to learn something from Wanda. So she asked me if I want to be a guinea pig on the table where Wanda will show her something. So that's the big day when I met Wanda. The funny thing was that she always made this comment. Paul said, blah, blah, blah. Paul said something. Paul said, Paul said. So after we finished, I said, who is Paul? And she looked at me like, St. Paul. It was so obvious. St. Paul. Who else? You know? I said, is she coming to you all the time? She said, no, she just came to you. And then I was just taken into pieces. I said, this is either I'm crazy, she's crazy, or we are all crazy. Because I was really doing this Reiki in a fantastic way. My arthritis disappeared completely within several months. So I knew that there is something mysterious, but I didn't know that St. Paul can just come and just whisper something to her related to me. And so then I started coming to this strange church, which I started feeling drawn to it, and then here I am. I'm a minister, and that's a big blessing. Thank you.
Glad your arthritis got better.
I'm Larry Adams, and I've met Wanda after asking. I was at a point in my life of asking what I refer to as the cosmic questions of my life. I had two where I just asked the universe, see where the answer shows up. One of them was I had a teacher of many years in zero balancing, a guy named Fritz. And I kept asking him questions, and I felt like he was doing some kind of healing work and not able to answer my questions about it. So I realized that maybe that was coming from somewhere else. So I said, I'd like to know the source of Fritz's information. And the other question I asked, the big question, was, am I doing my mission? Because I've always felt since I was a child that I'm here to do something. I have a mission being here. And so I asked those questions. Tori, time passed and said, oh, there's an interesting woman that does medical intuition work. And I said, oh, that sounds interesting. So I went to her, and within the first session or two, Wanda's working on me, and she said, oh, there are 2 spirit guides from your teacher Fritz in your field. And I'm sitting going,
Where are they?
does Wanda know me? And then I said, gee, that's an answer to the question. And then I said, gee, I think I would like to study with you. And she says, well, the first thing that we need to do is do a reading on your life mission. So I went, well, there we go. But it's felt like I've been in and out of different ministries and different spiritual groups, and continuously seeking for the right group, because it always felt like no matter what group I was in, that the group didn't bring out, that somehow you weren't totally okay in the group. You weren't totally, there were conditions. And in this group, I just immediately felt that I had come home, that every aspect of my life had led me to this point. I felt the peace.